Thank you. And I, too, want to join my colleagues here tonight. And like my distinguished colleague from South Dakota, my father always taught me that you can do and be anything you would like as long as you're willing to work hard for it. Had nothing to do with your gender, just as long as you're willing to work hard for it. So I took this to heart, and it is something that has stuck with me throughout my life, whether it was when I joined the Air Force at 17, or when I was a single mother working 2 jobs trying to keep food on the table, or as a person who was putting myself working during the day and paying my way through the police academy at night, or later on as a state legislator and now as a member of Congress. I know what it's like to struggle, and I understand how difficult it is for women and families across this nation during these tough economic times. I never aspired to be in public office, but a strong sense of justice and a love and appreciation for our great country led me to where I am here today. Now, I ran for the Florida legislature years ago after I lost my second husband in the line of duty death as a deputy sheriff, because I was always there testifying on behalf of victims and citizens' rights issues. 1 year, I couldn't believe what I had heard, and I got involved so much with legislation that had passed that I felt tied my hands as a police officer to do what I was sworn to do, and that was protect and serve the community I was hired in Orange County, Florida. So I decided to do something about it, and I ran and was elected to Florida's 33rd District. 8 years later, as I was preparing to come home and retire and be back and reacquaint myself with my family, I witnessed what a lot of people, a lot of families witnessed throughout this country, and that was our country was accruing an astronomical amount of debt. They were recklessly spending taxpayers' hard-earned money, and the passage of the Obama health care plan and rampant unemployment in Florida and across the nation was just too much to bear. So I knew our country was heading down the wrong path, an unsustainable path, and something needed to be done. The trajectory of the nation's fiscal path was clear. Like so many mothers across this country, I saw the future of our nation, and especially our children's future, at risk. I couldn't sit by and watch as our country continued down this reckless fiscal path, and I had the strong desire to change our nation's course, and that's what led me to this nation's capital. The truth is that our nation expects more from its leaders in Congress. I came here to make a difference, to remove the barriers to job creation that have been imposed by this administration's addiction to spending, taxation, and regulation. Only by giving more power back to the families and small businesses that make this great nation can we put our economy back on a sustainable path and help the private sector, I'll say it again, help the private sector put people back to work. I made a promise to the men and women in District 24 that I would fight to end the spending and the spending-driven debt crisis that led our nation's dire economic state. I will continue to keep this promise, and I will continue to fight for families across this country by working towards fiscal responsibility, lower taxes, and removing job-killing regulations that have stifled our nation's economic growth for far too long.